Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube lands, it's your boy Tuglow, and I know I'm late. I've been on vacation. My apologies. If you pulled on this, I hope that you got amazing pulls, and if you didn't and you've been waiting because you don't know if it's worth the pull, well, hey, now better late than never. You know what I'm saying? So we still do have like 10-11 days left on this banner, and you can see I have done two multis on this. One of them was the free multi that they gave us for the store reaching like #1 somewhere. And then the other one was I had 65 or 64k. And I was like, yo, it's time to do a pull. Let's go ahead and go over this real quickly. The supporter, you know, I love starting with the supporter. When I saw this when I was on vacation, I was like, oh my god, this dude is a 36. I was like, are we going to have to pull? And then I was like looking, and then I was like, oh, it just starts off as the max upgrade. I saw he was a 25. Come on, let's be real. 25, you already know. That's typically a good sign that we can just go ahead and skip this. As far as these tags are concerned, these aren't the worst ones in the world, I guess. I think this was Char's Zaku from the last one. And then we've got the two current banner units here. And then this is just the, what is this, Castle? Or whatever this ultimate one is. That's this right here. And Aerial. So for me, already starting out, it's already kind of weak. And then just on top of it being a base 25, not really too excited for it, I guess. Let's go ahead and just go to the Deathscythe next. The actual character we got here, we'll take a look at the limit break animation. I will say this limit break animation is awesome. Like, if I could just take one and like, yo, let me use this, it'd probably be this one. It feels so minimalistic, but it does so much at the same time. I really like this one. Now, as far as this character is concerned, we do have our typical terrain, where we do have half in the sky, and then everything else is okay. Only one that we don't have is C, typical for most suits. We do have this mechanism that reduces more damage by 20% whenever we defend or support defend. I feel like that's pretty typical for the tank units. And then as far as like stats are concerned, I mean, well, this is also at MLB, so that's not bad. I mean, that was like massive stats, right? But, you know, is this Omega crazy? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I honestly, you know, I'm not one to say like, oh, these are like the highest stats. I'm sure there are people who can tell you that. But to me, as far as a tank is concerned, having 10,500 attack is pretty crazy, in my honest opinion. The other thing that y'all already know that I love to look at is going to be the attack range. On a tank, I'm not looking for a tank to have 5 range. That would be crazy. But, you know, most tanks are going to have 1, 2, 1, 3. That's totally cool. We have the attack down. The attack down at 35%, I feel like, is normal. Where I think it's the OG Gundam has that. So it's not too terrible. Now, taking a look at the abilities. Increased defense, 15%. That kind of adds onto this. The increased attack kind of adds onto this. And then this one is actually really interesting. So when you evade, you increase your own evasion by 15%. When you choose to evade. The only issue is if you evade, you're not attacking, right? And so I guess in my head, maybe this guy is someone who's like gonna, typically I like to use my tanks last, but I feel like this guy may be someone that, hey, I'm gonna use my tank first and like kind of send them in there, and then as the enemies are coming after me, you know, they may have like a 4 range or a 5 range, right? So that kind of plays into being able to evade more often because they're out of range. So I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like that's the vision that I'm getting from this character. Let me know what y'all think as far as that is concerned. That's kind of what I'm getting from him. And then as far as the attack percentage down, that, like I said, to me is just kind of normal. Where OG Gundam has that same thing as well. And I was kind of curious because he was also a tank as well. Justice Gundam has it too. So the attack percent down isn't anything like too special or too crazy. Let's take a look at the pilot for the Deathscythe. Now the first thing that I take a look at is, unfortunately, he does not have double support. It is what it is. It does kind of suck. I will say his reaction does feel or seem like it's very high. This seems like a character who would be pretty decent for PvP, since the turn order is based off of reaction and evasion. So he may be one to not sleep on. But let's take a look at his skills. The first one, we've got 20% attack. That's not bad. As far as the crit rate is concerned, it's not like his abilities, like Beam Scissor doesn't have crit on it. This one has crit, which may be okay for PvP since it's mobility down, but it's not like I can choose who I'm attacking with it, right? So that's also something to consider. And then his Vulcan Cannon doesn't have crit either, so that one just kind of feels like a throwaway skill. Maybe I would have liked to have seen maybe like movement, so I can get a little bit closer, gap close. But the main one here is going to be that 50% HP. This is obviously very good. He's a tank. He's going to be getting focused, so that's almost a necessity for him. We've got the support defense. We also have 20% increased defense here. And then when he's piloting durability, he gets 20% when countering. So if they are within that 1 to 3 range where he can attack, he's going to get some extra juice on top of it. Otherwise, he's going to turn around and just get extra evasion if he's out of range for the counterattack. And then for the wing, 15-15, not too bad. Overall, this character may be a sleeper pick for like PvP. And he may be pretty decent because evading can be pretty good if you're going to do like higher Eternal Road difficulty content. But as far as like your normal stuff or like the scoring thing in the map event that we're currently having, I don't think this unit is like too crazy. It almost feels like he's just going to be like PvP, or it may be like, oh man, you remember that one thing that one time during that one event? Like, I feel like it may be something like that. But with Tough as Nails, this guy's probably going to be seen in the upcoming PvP a lot, especially if it gets 50% increase. Yeah, he's probably going to be seen a lot. When it comes to the Build Strike Gundam, we'll take a look at this. Let's take a look at the animation. I like the animations. This one, I won't lie, I kind of like this a lot. I actually like this one a lot. I like how you kind of like see it's like, yo, we're charging, and then you see him like blast. I think that's really cool. And I really like the shading around the actual suit itself. I think it looks great. The stats itself, if you actually compare the attack stats and the defense stats to the previous one, we're not even reaching 10k. So you can already kind of tell the differences, and that dude's that dude's a defender, and this dude is a support. So you can already kind of see like, hey, that defender kind of got some juicy stats on him. As far as the terrain capability, we actually do have full like mobility for atmosphere, so that's great. And then the half on the underwater. But let's take a look at, we do have mechanisms as well. The same one as the last one, where you defend or support defend, 20% reduced damage. Take a look at this. We have Alternative Gundam Pro Tag Unstoppable. We probably won't see this guy in the upcoming one, PvP, because I think it was UC and Tough as Nails, right? So he probably won't be in there as much as that Deathscythe tank fella. Damage taken from beam weapons isn't terrible. Is not terrible. It also does have 2 ammo, so it's probably gonna be a straight line. I was gonna be like, yo, 2 ammo, that can't be like anything crazy. Straight line, similar to Swan, nothing crazy. We do have a 1-5 range, which I really like the 1-5 range, especially for supports, because that is kind of keeping the same area as like Swan, New Gundam, Ariel. We all got 5 there. You know, let's all get in on this. As far as this is concerned, the debuff, damage taken from physical weapons of 35%. I don't know if that's anything different or crazy. Let me take a look. Oh, okay. So the first guy I just clicked on my GPO2, he has physical. So, I mean, if you want to say that that's crazy, then sure, I guess we can say that. You know, I wasn't expecting this, but also Phoenix Gundam is physical as well. So, I mean, I don't really think that this dude being able to juice up physical is like crazy or anything. I mean, just in my account, I found 2 people, so I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world. But I mean, you know, a 5 and then a debuff totally makes a lot of sense. I will say this mobility stat though, hold on, 10,600, that's quite a bit. That's quite a bit of mobility. That could be pretty interesting. PvP wise, of course. Then we'll take a look at this, increases energy. Okay, that's fine. 500 energy, hold on, that's a lot. Dude, that's a lot of energy. Oh, well, okay, yeah, he does have the map, and maps typically do cost a decent amount. That only costs 40 bucks. Okay. Okay, I see you cooking. This dude's got a lot of energy. That dude's juicing. When the enemy attacks with physical weapons, reducing the damage by 30%, not terrible. Mobility 5%. Again, helps with evading, helps with going first in PvP. As far as anything here, I just feel like this dude's just relatively standard. I don't think this is anything like what I like to look for as far as like pushing the boundaries of like, yo, we're like, you know, A tier pushing into that S tier. Like this dude, the suit itself isn't doing anything like crazy. As far as this guy's concerned, the ranged 665, do with that what you will. Reaction is only 588. It's a little bit low, I feel. Then of course we got double support, not terrible. Well, let's take a look at his skills. So we have 100% accuracy. It's not bad. Movement's not bad. And range. I don't know if I like any of this dude's skills. I mean, these... Because it's not like... The reason why I don't like any of these skills is because it doesn't work for the entirety of his turn. So if the boost range stayed for the entirety of my turn, right? The way that increasing my attack does, or increasing my critical does, or, you know, increasing my defense, right? Maybe I'm taking a lot of hits because I might be the only unit in the area. I'll have defense the entire time that I'm getting bombarded, right? These are literally just after the next, right? So I click this, I get 1 use, that's it. I click the range, I get 1 use, that's it. I don't really like any of these skills. That's why they just feel average. Now how could you change that? Like, maybe you make this boost to 10, like it costs 10, and then you say for the next turn, you have +1 range. Well, now that's completely different because now I can stay at 6 spaces out. I can hit you from 6 away, and then I can support from 6 away. That would be something that pushes me from that A tier into that S tier. You know, that would be something that I'd look at. As far as like, you know, kind of the same thing with this. Make it a 10 SP, and then we get 100% for the next turn. So every attack I'm doing will not miss, right? Unless you got sway. But his skills, not really anything crazy about. And then as far as his abilities, we've got the support here. Again, it does kind of suck because we don't have the increasing our attack. We just have reducing our energy consumption. That's standard. Increasing attack is something that's kind of pushing that boundary, right? Gunpla Builder 2, restore own 10%. Restore own HP by 10% at the start of every turn when piloting units with a specific tag. So this is for himself. That's not terrible. 10% is quite a lot. Yeah, that's not terrible at all. And then we've got the extra support attack with 7% energy at the start of every turn whenever this guy is piloting a gunpla. Honestly, these two are not terrible. 10 HP and 7%. That reminds me of Phoenix, who has restore own HP by 10%, and he cannot. Let me see. Okay, so he restores his own HP. So then I need to look at Mark. Oh, Mark Gilder. So see here, this is very interesting. So it's got to be both of these tags, and it's only 5% to the squad, and he doesn't give energy. So technically, he's got a bigger heal, but he doesn't give any energy out. So, you know, do you want more HP? Do you want more energy? That's kind of, you know, up to you. But at the end of the day, you know, would I drop 60k gems on this? No, not in the slightest. The ship, the supporter, kind of already tells me, like, are we gonna see something crazy, or are we gonna see something more kind of standard, right? This just feels like another banner for me to sit back, you know, stay above 60,000 for whatever may come out that's going to be incredibly juicy. But I will say, at least these two units, just especially the Deathscythe, it feels just like PvP. He just feels so PvP heavy. And he's not terrible. He's not terrible. So if you want to do PvP stuff and like that's your main goal, then yeah, do a couple pulls for it. If you like these suits or these pilots, do pulls for it. Do I think this is a banner worth pulling 60k gems on? Not in the slightest. And you do with that information what you will. Obviously, if you're a whale, you should have already pulled. If you're free to play, you know, you may just stay afloat 60k, right? But until then, personally, I think the units are good. I think they're solid. But they're not Strike Freedom, right? They're not Locus Klein, right? They're not in that echelon. And those are the ones that I'm like looking to bust my load on for the 60k. This is not it. If you did pulls, or if you're gonna do pulls, I wish you the best of luck. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Until the next one, I'll catch y'all later. Good luck saving, good luck pulling. Peace. Bye bye.